Yeah, the engineers tell me that going to Stelvio to do brake testing is essential. I've never been myself, but when I see the photographs, I think maybe the location says it all, really. It's obviously a very nice place to go. It is an industry standard, particularly for driving down hills with caravans and so on the car, where the car's going very slowly and the weight or the trailer or whatever is pushing the car down. You can find you can lose brakes when you get to the bottom. Because we're using new technology, it's very important that we've proven that we've gone to Stelvio and that it will survive all those sort of tests.
One of the big details that I always remember is there's really no runoff area. So if you do misjudge it, you could quite easily end up down the bottom of the valley. And when you're driving down there, you're always mindful, as well as driving as hard as you can, trying to give the brakes as much grief as possible, you're also, in the back of your mind, looking out for any signs that are going to warn you of a possible failure, because we are talking about prototype parts. It's a very, very harsh environment. The gradient and the twists that you find in this particular location wreak absolute havoc with the brakes. And the idea really is to go as fast as you can and as safely as you can, and using the brakes as much as you can. And then you record all the data, and then you review it, and you find out exactly what's happened to the brakes. Have they overheated? Is there any what we call pad knockback, so that the pad moves away from the disc? Do you find that the fluid boils? And that's something which absolutely astounded us. Other cars that we've taken down there, when we get down to the bottom and the heat from the caliper soaks into the brake fluid, then you start getting a loss of brake pedal. There was none of that at all, because the brakes run at relatively cool temperatures. What we wanted to do was make sure that the system worked, that the brakes were going to be acceptable for this sort of car. So we weren't really concerned about the design that much, but we were concerned about the application. We came back from Stelvio with a very warm feeling for the brakes in its application, because we felt that we proved out that the application worked on the car in its harshest environment.
But the results we found at Stelvio was that the disc runs at a relatively low temperature compared to a cast iron disc, and that really was quite surprising, because the MMC dissipates the heat so quickly that running some of the most arduous brake tests that we carry out in Europe, particularly at the Nürburgring, where typically we'll be getting 600 to 700 degrees centigrade on the Nordschleife circuit. With this particular disc, we only reach about 210 degrees, and that's only just a warm disc basically, and that's got huge advantages in terms of wear. And again, I think it's possible, may not be on the car at the moment, but in the future to make the pad and the disc last for the life of the car, 100,000 miles.